Over the past 7 years, I, along with graduate students and undergraduate students and quite a few colleagues, have been pursuing archaeology of Greene County pioneers. Based on the field work and the lab work and historical research that students and colleagues and I have done as part of those projects, based on that, we are contributing to this museum exhibit by putting together a exhibit segment called the Archaeology of Greene County. We highlight 2 case studies. One is the archaeology of the Nathan Boone homestead. Nathan Boone and his family, including his wife and enslaved African Americans, were pioneers in Greene County. They came in the 1830s. We've learned more about the spatial layout of the farmstead. So what kinds of outbuildings were there, what kinds of remains of those outbuildings are still present, and what kinds of activities went on there. And that other site is called, or we've called it, the McKinley site. During the pre-Civil War era, the primary landowner was an immigrant, Scottish immigrant named Henry McKinley. People descended from McKinley slaves still live in Greene County. I know several people. The person I've worked with the most as a collaborator on this project, Mr. Clarence Brewer, who lives in Greene County. He is a musician and an artist, and I've done a number of oral history interviews with him. So one reason this site is important is because it's linked with the lives of African Americans in Greene County today. And so by looking at the trajectory of the lives of people who were slaves under McKinley, and how they and their descendants, how their lives played out and what their lives are like today, that gives us a particularly important insight into really race relations and African American heritage in this region. Really, we've just begun investigating the area archaeologically, but that site is particularly significant, again, because it was a large farm with a large slaveholding compared to most other farms in this area. And so archaeologically, we can try to investigate what was daily life like, what kinds of activities were carried out, and what was the material culture, the stuff that they had, bought, made, consumed, used up, threw out. What were those elements of daily life like at a large slaveholding? And then we can compare those to things that have been excavated from much smaller slaveholdings or non-slaveholding homesteads or farms in Greene County. The way that archaeology can really contribute is that when we have both the archaeology and the written record and a third line of evidence, people's oral knowledge that's been transmitted across the generations, those 3 lines of evidence together tell us a whole lot more